Uncertainty is the bane of markets, and we will undoubtedly see some more sterling weakness creep in. Alastair McCaig, Fern Wealth. The last trading week ended with US non-farm payrolls falling below expectations. Alastair, is the FOMC Meeting Minutes the main release that could influence some dollar movements this week?
In the week ahead, as far as the dollar is concerned, you could make a decent argument for saying that it is in fact many of the other global currencies that are going to dictate the strength of the dollar by their weakness more than anything else. The fact that over the course of the weekend we heard interviews from the Bank of Japan's Kuroda talking about how he had many more tools available to him should he feel the requirement to alter the strength of the Japanese yen. And as far as, say, the Eurozone is concerned, and specifically the euro as a currency, on Tuesday we've got the German ZEW economic sentiment figures, and that'll give a pretty good indication as to what the confidence is as far as the business community is concerned in Europe. And then obviously the headline act, I think, of this week is undoubtedly going to be Wednesday, where we have the FOMC Meeting Minutes. And as much as we've heard sound bites and snippets of commentary from many of the voting members of the FOMC board, we will actually get to see specifically what has been stated in their last meeting. And that'll, again, give us a little bit of a better understanding of exactly where they stand. And then latterly, just in regards, again, to external currency strength, sterling, US dollar or cable, always one of the more closely watched barometers as far as the US dollar is concerned. We do have the Bank of England Governor Mark Carney speaking on Thursday, and he's due for an afternoon comment there. And that will go a long way to dictating how sterling strength goes against the US dollar as well.
Following the second presidential debate of 2016, the Mexican peso hit near one-month highs. How much of emerging market volatility is driven by the US elections at present, and what other currencies are also vulnerable?
The Mexican economy is so directly correlated with the US. About 80% of their export economy goes directly to the US. And the commentary that we've heard from Donald Trump in regards to a number of specific countries, Mexico being one of them, has led many to fear over the Mexican economy's stability in the coming months. We will be watching the Mexican peso quite closely to see what the consequences are. But added to the Mexican peso, we'll obviously be looking at the renminbi as far as China is concerned, because this is another one of the countries that Donald Trump has stated on numerous occasions if he were to come to power, he would look to renegotiate trade agreements that the US have with them. But more importantly, I think he would be looking to tighten up on much of the global regulatory outlook as far as China is concerned, and looked to change that. There are a couple of currencies out there, I think, that it would be worth monitoring as we get closer to the election, especially if we were to see Donald Trump come to power. I think one of those currencies would undoubtedly be the Swiss franc, certainly seen as a currency where many would feel is more of a safe haven as far as the currency market is concerned. I don't think the euro would necessarily be an area where we would see a mass migration of currencies, but you would debate as to whether the euro might be in a position to take over the US dollar's perceived value as this sort of second currency.
UK Prime Minister Theresa May is headed to Denmark and Netherlands this week, and it seems that Brexit negotiations are well underway. The UK Prime Minister's pledge to restrict immigration saw an instant descent from the Great British Pound. What's your outlook for the Great British Pound this week, and are you expecting any surprise movements from the FTSE 100?
Well, if we take the political side of the Brexit equation first, Theresa May, in her speeches, was undoubtedly maintaining the stance in regards to migration and the ability of the EU's members to maintain their working rights and the freedom of movement of workers. At this point in time, many of her meetings with other EU nations and the likes of Denmark and the Netherlands will be paving the way to when negotiations can start proper, and that can't happen until our Article 50 has been actioned. As far as the currency is concerned, and sterling specifically, uncertainty, of course, is the bane of all markets and will undoubtedly see further weakness creep in. We were looking, and this is my company point of view, Fern Wealth, we're looking to see cable hit lower lows, and we felt against the US dollar, sub 125 was very much an achievable level. We didn't anticipate it happening quite as speedily as it did last week, but that was political commentary that I guess was the catalyst. As far as the FTSE is concerned, we've certainly enjoyed quite a healthy run. 80% of the FTSE's income revenue stream is derived in US dollars, out with sterling, and this is a reflection of many of the international companies that are quoted in the FTSE 100. I am beginning to become a little bit nervous as to how much more of a bullish run we can see. Certainly some of the positions we've taken on board for our clients here in our managed accounts have very much taken advantage of what has been the softening in sterling strength and comparative strength seen in the US dollar. But last week, midway through the week, we saw a situation whereby the FTSE 100, the 250, and FTSE All shares all hit all-time intraday highs at the same time. And the last time we saw that occur was back in December 99, just when the tech bubble was at its highest.
Well, Alastair, thank you for your views. That's all from me for this week ahead, but Dukascopy TV will cover the latest movements in more depth throughout the week.